What's up, people? James here with another video at long last. I'm here today with another book review. If you're wondering why I haven't done any book reviews recently, because I haven't read any books. So I can't review books I haven't read. Stupid idea. So we're going to do a book review today. It's a bit different, actually. Not a storybook this time, for once. Today we're reviewing this. It is called No is a Four-Letter Word, How I Failed at Spelling But Succeeded in Life by Chris Jericho. If you do not know who Chris Jericho is, he is a wrestler man and also does a podcast and is in a band and has done all these weird and incredible things. And so I picked up his book thinking perhaps this is like a memoir biography about his time in the wrestling world, but actually turns out it's a self-help book. And if you think that the idea of reading a self-help book written by a professional wrestler and singer in a rock band is a silly idea, well, you're wrong, actually, because it is funny, very clever. It's got some really fun anecdotes. It's a really short, quick read, and it's actually got some pretty good advice in it. So actually worth a go. So let's get into the backstory here. Chris Jericho obviously is, as I say, a wrestler and a man in a rock band. This book is essentially just him giving you the 20 top tips that he's had for basically being successful in life. It's pretty straightforward stuff, I think, if you really boil it down. Like, there's nothing here I don't think that you wouldn't have heard before on like a motivational sort of poster or something. It makes it sound really stupid, but it's not, because what Jericho does that's really good, he relates all of his tips to an anecdote about his life. So you get some autobiographical stuff in there. He's obviously led a very interesting life on the road as a wrestler for like decades. He's been doing podcasts with all these rich and famous people, going to all these fancy shindigs and stuff. But he relates all of his anecdotes to his real life. And weirdly, even though he's like a big, super famous guy, most of the anecdotes are actually pretty relatable. They're the situations you might find yourself in. I've personally found them relating to my own life. And to be honest, this book came along for me at a perfect time because I've been going through a lot of changes and upheaval recently, and I've been sort of being like, oh, I don't know about any of this stuff. But this book actually refocused me in a way. I guess it's sort of one of the top tip from him. Like the one thing he says, if you're going to take away anything from this book, to take away this lesson, it's just to go out there and make things happen, which is a way of phrasing very common advice that I haven't heard before, but is actually really good. So basically, it's the advice of like, stop making excuses for things, just go out and do them. Like, that's pretty common advice from like everyone. But then the question is like, oh, well, like, how do I just do it, But this advice is like, if you want to do something, just make it happen. And like the scenario that he gives is that he was invited to meet one of his personal idols. At this point, I forget who. And he was like, oh, well, I would love to do it, but like this and this and this is stopping me. It's like I could do it, but then like I have to get to here at this time, and I don't know if it's going to work out, and so maybe I just shouldn't bother. And then he thought to himself, well, fuck that. Like, I want to make that happen. Like, I want all of these things to happen. How do I just go and do it? So he went out there and he just did what he could to make what he wanted to happen. And it turned out it wasn't actually all that bad. It's like getting over that idea of having all these excuses and reasons why we can't do something. Like, if you want to go and hang out with your friends, you're like, oh, but like I shouldn't because I'm busy, I've got to do this and that. But if you really want something to happen like that, you will find the time, is basically what he's saying here. It's like, you can shuffle things around in order to make what's most important to you happen. It's really good. I can't really go too much into detail about it. Like, it really sort of, these sort of books defy my rating system because like there's no plot or anything. What I will say is that even though I found quite a lot of it funny, Chris Jericho is like a 43-year-old dad of three, so he's got a bit of an odd dad sense of humour, and that could be grating for some people. It probably isn't going to be of interest to you if you don't know who Chris Jericho is already. If you're not interested in wrestling, yeah, a lot of the anecdotes, they're not going to mean as much to you. I think some of the, like, one of the tips sort of was a bit unrelatable to a normal person. It's where he's saying, like, don't take no for an answer. Like, you can just insist until you get your way if you insist long enough, which sort of is true, but probably works better if you're a celebrity that people want to do things for. Like, I don't know, if you just sort of act like a belligerent asshole and you're not anybody, you will just get kicked out of the place. But I don't know. All in all, good book. It's actually broken like a reading cold streak that I've been going through. I haven't found a lot of time to do much reading since I moved, because a lot of my reading was done on the commute to work, which now just doesn't exist basically. So that's time that I have needed to find a new place for. I think I've got back on track with that now. So hopefully we're going to have more videos soon. As Chris Jericho would say, I'm going to make that happen for you guys. So yeah, no is a 4-letter word. I don't know what the 4-letter word is supposed to be. I read the whole book cover to cover. I still don't know. But it's a good read. Recommend it if you want some self-help. It's a pretty good book. Give it a go, and I'll see you next time.